Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. My name is Ravenbird and today I am going to be doing a part 2 of how to use your camera effectively for dressage. So in my last video I talked about how to use your mouse here and using an external mouse to use your camera to rotate it around like this using your right mouse button so that anytime you're riding along you're able to move your camera around so you can fix your gaps or look at your horse's legs for transition timing or anything like that. But now we're going to actually talk about other settings that you can do to improve your performance for dressage. So if we go click on our settings right here, you want to go to the game tab and then look at these last three slider bars here. So we're going to talk about what these actually mean here. So we're going to focus on distance to camera horse and then field of view. So for distance to camera horse, your camera is basically, it's designed to be third person, kind of over the shoulder like this. So if I let my camera go, you can see that the camera is positioned behind you. And then if I follow around like this, yes, you can see the camera moving in front of you, but it will rotate back like this so that it's focused on the back of your horse and your character. So again, the default setting where your camera lies is back this way, and now you can see the camera slowly panning down this way to focus on my back. But if we go into our settings again and then look at distance to camera horse, you will see the camera moving closer to your back like this. So if I bring it back all the way to the right, the camera is moving further and further away from your back. So my personal recommendation is to have your distance to camera horse about right here so that you can still see your entire horse's body like this and you have a pretty good field of view here. Okay, so now speaking of field of view, so field of view, it's bringing your focus closer to a certain point. So for example, the camera is now being focused more towards the letter A here versus if I were to bring my slider bar all the way to the right, now the focus is a lot farther away and the camera has distorted quite a bit. Okay, so I don't know if you can see the distortion kind of up here, how it's distorted, but with your field of view, again, you want to kind of have it about 3/4 of the way to the right, so that way there is less distortion that you can see in the actual camera view, but you can still see your entire character and you can also see your full rider line. The reason why I'm explaining why you should have your field of view and your camera all the way out is because if I were to do dressage like this, I have a much harder time seeing the lines that are in front of me. Okay, so yes, I can still see that I'm heading towards A, but because my horse, my character's head is kind of in the way, I can't really see the line exactly that I'm riding along. Okay, and then if I tilt my camera down like this to look at the lines, I don't know if I'm gonna hit the wall or not, or I don't know if my gaps are okay, because if I try to turn my camera this way to look at my gaps, and this is just an exaggeration, but if I were to turn my camera this way to try to look at my gaps, I can't really see where my horse's nose is going to be. So I'm actually going to turn off the UI for a second so I can show you. Again, I can't really see that much in front of me. So I've seen some people where they have their camera, field of view kind of like this, where it's like halfway. So that's better. So it can be a little more difficult because you're just so close and you don't get to see as much of the line and you don't get to be able to see as far in front of you. Okay, so go ahead into your settings, kind of play around with this. Your field of view and your distance to camera horse are around 3/4 of the way out. This explanation is partially adapted from Penguin's Legacy's perfected method. So they talk about the optimal camera view, and I think they actually go a little bit further out here field of view wise, but I like it kind of here, but the distance to camera horse is right about where I want it right now. So again, try not to keep your camera too close to your character because then it limits your field of view on where you're supposed to go. And especially too, if you're doing a big routine with a lot of people and a lot of moving parts, it can be really helpful to have your field of view further out. So for example, if you know that you're supposed to be merging into the midline here between E and B, and you're over here and you're supposed to merge behind a particular person, then you can see where that person is and you can merge behind them at the correct timing. The one other thing I did want to touch on is how you're actually going to be rotating your camera for certain things. So in my club, the typical command phrase is trot set, pre, go. Okay, so I'm trotting along, and let's say I wanted to do a curl over. So I'm going to do a curl over to the right, and so making sure my camera is facing up like this. And I want you to watch and listen to the timing of when I move my camera and when I say pre. Okay, so curl over right set, pre, and go. Okay, so I moved my camera on pre. So my camera is currently facing in the direction of travel right now, but then on pre, I want to turn my camera in the new direction of travel, and then that's when I would want to turn. Okay, so some writers, what they'll do, and there's nothing wrong with this, is they'll have their camera facing towards the camera in the opposite direction of travel. And then they will go ahead and turn here like this. And that's fine because it still works because you can still see the lines here. But again, for me, I like to keep my camera facing in the same direction of travel for as long as possible. So right now I'm facing towards C, curl over left set, pre, and go. Okay, so because my curl over is going to change my direction, I'm going to head towards A. I turn my camera quickly on pre towards A so that way I can see the new arena line that I'm on approximately right here. And yeah, my camera was set up and therefore I knew exactly where my horse was going to go. So the same thing applies for doing a comb. So comb set, pre, and go. Yep, so on pre, I turn my camera towards P and F, comb left set, pre, and go. That way, when I turn my camera on pre, it gives me plenty of time to see which line I'm going to end up on, and therefore I can ensure straightness. So those are my two other follow-up pieces of advice for using your camera effectively. So again, in summary, it's using your settings to change the distance to camera horse and field of view to be about 3/4 of the way to the right. And then also making sure that you're using pre or some sort of extra timing to change your camera in the direction of travel. Okay, so I hope this helps you guys with improving your dressage and using your camera effectively so that anytime you're using your camera for a routine or for doing a practice, you can have the best performance possible. If you would like to watch more tutorial videos like this, please be sure to leave a comment down below and request any sort of dressage tutorial that you like, and subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!